Hey there, Home Service Pro. Ryan here with CHIIRP. Now, I recently had the privilege of sitting down with Dustin Miller. He is the owner of Comfort Now, which is a residential HVAC company out of Central California, doing about $9 million a year. He's a longtime CHIIRP user and has had great success with the platform. I knew he was going to share some really awesome stuff in this interview. I did not expect him to go as in-depth as he did and share the secrets that he does. I was actually shocked at what he's willing to share. So if you are looking to make more money in your home service business, he absolutely shares some of his biggest secrets on how he has scaled using CHIIRP. So let's jump in. Hey everybody, Ryan here with CHIIRP. Thank you so much for taking a minute to watch this video. If you're a home service pro looking to implement automation in your business, this video is going to really get you excited about doing that. I have with us here Dustin Miller. He's with Comfort Now out of California. It's an HVAC company out of California. He's also a pilot and just an all-around really cool guy. Super excited to have him here. He's been with CHIIRP for going on 3 years now, right, Dustin, I think?
Right.
So let's jump in. Dustin, tell everybody that's watching this, tell us about your business, how long you've been doing this, and a little bit about yourself.
Cool, no problem. I own and operate, of course, Comfort Now. I'm the president. We started the business in 2010. I was about 28 years old. Currently, this business will do about $9 million in just HVAC this year, a little over $9 million. And our population that we serve in Visalia, it's like 140,000 people. And I would say it's like a rural area, low income area. And their total service area is about 250,000 people. So we've had a lot of success growing in a small market.
So the excuse of, oh, my market's too small for that, or I don't need that here, that's you don't listen to that, right?
Yeah. And if you look at how many installs you need to be successful, and you look at how many houses you have in your market, like you can get there.
Yeah, yeah. So when we started talking a couple of years ago about getting onto CHIIRP, the first question that came up was like, why shift to text messaging as the medium to communicate? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. I mean, before text messaging, we would, the next closest thing was email blast. Yeah. Email blast your customer base. That was the next closest thing to text messaging. Well, your open rate on email blast is slim. I mean, if you hit 50%, you'd get lucky.
Oh yeah, you're doing really good if you 50%.
Yeah, you're doing really good. Like what's the normal percentage for opening up an email in an email blast?
Right. Yeah, I mean, 10% sometimes,
Right.
Yeah.
And so already most of the people that you're sending that email blast to, they're not seeing your message. And then a large percentage of them is hitting it as spam because they don't want to see the message anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we think of text messages, I mean, heck, that's 100% open rate, like 100% open rate. And the cost versus text messages and emails is about the same. But we have 100% open rate for text messaging. Every single one of your customers will see your text message.
Yeah, you think about that, and it's like you can write the best message in the world. If the person doesn't see the message, there's no point. So with text messaging, you're guaranteed to get them to at least get eyeballs on the message, right? Do you feel like your customers that you text with, and this is getting to be kind of a dumb question at this point, but it was a problem that people had before. They're like, oh, my customers don't want to text. It's not professional, which is, right. I mean, everybody, that's totally shifting. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. My thoughts are that your customers don't want you to call them. That's what my thoughts are. Yeah. Like they do not want to answer your phone call. And now today, a lot of them won't even answer your phone call if you're not inside their phone or know why you're calling or expecting your call. Like they just won't answer it. That's a big majority of people that we're calling out today just won't answer phone calls from unknown numbers, numbers that aren't in the phone.
Yeah.
So absolutely, your customer wants to communicate via text. That's their preferred method of contact.
Yeah. it's hard to argue with the numbers you're producing. It's like you've proven it's not just ideas. You've proven that at this point. Um,
Right.
so we've established, okay, so we established, all right, text message has 100% read rate. So, I mean, technically it's like 97 or 98% read rate, whatever.
Hmm.
But compared to email at 5, 10, 15%, you're 5 times more likely to get your message in front of the customer. And then we've established that it's professional at this point to text. People prefer it. It's not like you don't look like a kid anymore. It's not 2008. It's not people want to text. Now, we're talking about this and it's like, oh, what do? I do want to start texting in my business, but what do I do? Pick up my cell phone and start texting. And that's obviously, not what we do here at CHIIRP. We talk about automation and using a platform to make this happen. When you looked at what we were doing and you saw the automation capabilities, what were your thoughts behind that, and how are you implementing some of that?
Cool. Yeah. So I used a different platform in the past, and that platform I was successful, but it was super complicated. It was super complicated to set up the drip campaigns, to set up the staging, and then the pipelines of customers, and you had to build all that from scratch. And it was like almost you had to be a computer program. You had to be tailored to do it.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure, right? When he says Taylor,
Um,
that's our guy here. That's a
yeah.
pro automation expert. Yeah, yeah,
So I mean, you had to hire someone like Taylor to help you through on how to, even when you learned how to do it, to help you change it, you still needed help, and so it's super super complicated.
yeah,
And so I already knew that you can do this successfully at a very large scale.
right.
But with when I saw CHIIRP and how easy it was to set up the campaigns, and I can build these campaigns and test them and tweak them myself. I mean, that was the game changer. I mean, I think that's the power and magic of CHIIRP is how easy it is to use, and you don't have to be a programmer to learn how to use it.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah,
forgot
yeah.
my last thought.
If you think of it, we'll come back to it. But so automation obviously is a big part of what we do, what we talk about. It's like you can't just pick up your phone and text your customers from your cell phone. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about broad communication with your entire database, with all of your people, maintaining perfect communication through the entire customer journey. And yeah, that's one of the intimidating things that people see is they go, oh, I'd love to implement that, but I'm not a tech guy. I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe they're using, Service Titan or House Call Pro or one of the CRMs, and they're scared to implement something beyond that because it's like, I already went through the learning curve of, getting everything set up here, and I just implementing a new system is going to be a big problem. So when we saw that, our idea was, hey, let's integrate as deeply as we can with existing systems so that you're not having to change, the way you're doing business. And so you're with Service Titan, right?
Brian, you hit it on the head where my last thought was at.
Okay, cool.
And it was, yeah, it was the integration,
Yeah,
the integration of Service Titan.
yeah,
Before I would have to create reports and build my own list within Service Titan, and then I'd have to upload them into the automation platform and make sure that they hit the right campaigns. With CHIIRP, it makes it seamless. It automatically pulls all that data from Service Titan, the data that we're looking for, pulls it into CHIIRP, and automatically does the campaigns. And so it's one of those things where you can just push play, and it just goes. It just goes for you, and it continues to go for you until you tell it to stop.
yeah. That's been the biggest. I mean, that's where CHIIRP really started to see success as well. When we said, hey, these service companies, they're super busy doing what they're doing. They're really good at what they're doing, and to ask them to implement something and learn something totally new is a big ask. And so the easier we could make that was our goal. It was like, let's figure out how to take what they're already doing and enhance it. And that's where the Service Titan integration, and we have integrations with House Call Pro and other CRMs if you're not a Service Titan user. But with Service Titan, we have the deepest integration that we know of with Service Titan. We take advantage of their full API across the board. And so from any point in the customer journey, we can trigger campaigns to start and stop, right? And so,
Right.
yeah, tell us a little bit more about on your customer journey, maybe some of the campaigns you've had success with that, and just talk maybe some of the numbers that you've seen from that.
Cool. So one good campaign is a rehash estimate campaign. And so with our rehash estimate campaign, we didn't want to rehash every single estimate.
Yeah.
We wanted to somehow service tighten to say, "Ooh, that one's important," and then send it to CHIIRP, and then have an automated rehash that happens next day, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, next month. That automatically, happens in those rehashes. So we created a form in Service Titan, and when that form was created by the technician, it would tag that job, which would give CHIIRP the alert. Okay, this is the call I'm going to follow up on. This is the high opportunity call that we can't miss out on, that we're going to keep in front of the customer. We're going to get back out there however way that we can, and we're going to get in front of them again. So, that's a very successful, way to do it, using Service Titan, the automation, and then how they talk to each other.
Yeah, that brings up a really good point with the Service Titan integration, because one of the problems that a lot of people have, just like you said, it's like you either got to download the list and then put it into this other system and start it, or if they have an integration, it's too light to be able to differentiate between the different types of jobs or different tags, different technicians, things like that. The CHIIRP integration allows you to trigger, at new estimate based on the tag, the specific tag, based on the technician, based on specific job units, based on even the amount of the invoice. There's all different filters you could use. So you, just like you said, you could say, oh, that one's important. That's one I want to follow up with. So you're not just, hitting every single person, because, everybody's different, and every job is a little different. You want to be able to differentiate that. So that's a really,
it doesn't cost us money to hit every single person, but then again, it's a customer experience.
Yeah.
We don't want to wear out our customers with text messages.
Yes.
When we send a text message, it has to bring value.
Yes.
It has to bring value to them.
Oh, I'm so glad you say that, because some people are like, oh, I would never do that to my customers. I would never, and it's like, well, yeah, you definitely don't want to just spam everybody. That's like that's a problem. People come into it kind of gun shy, going, hey, I don't want to bother my customers. And it's like, no, this is laser targeted. This is like every text message has a purpose, and it's not just let's blast everybody with a spammy, offer or something like that. It's just very, very, like I said, laser targeted. It's just I keep going back to that, because it's like you think about the value of your list, and you could destroy the value of your company by over marketing to them, for sure. So,
yeah, absolutely. And we're big on too. If someone says stop, or they opt out, we won't call them, market them, like they are completely off our list forever.
Yep.
Because the last thing I want to do is get a phone call because they're being talked to too much. This person does not like to be talked to, so they are off the list.
Right.
And it's a very small percentage, surprisingly, of people that do that. Very small.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the trends right now that we're seeing in home services is these call centers kind of popping up, where they'll come to you and say, hey, we'll reach out to your existing customer database and we'll book appointments for you, for a fee, obviously. Pretty expensive fee. And I was always under the impression in home services was like, hey, market to your customer. You pay to get that customer once, and once it's your customer, you don't have to. I don't got to pay to get them again and again and again. And so, what are your thoughts? You've seen this happen, and what are your thoughts on that model, and how are you combating that? Going into shoulder season, and what are some of the results you've had?
Cool. Well, first of all, I've used call centers in the past to schedule and reach out to my existing unattached customer base that has opportunity and get them on a schedule. And here's the issue that I've had with those companies. One is the scheduling conflicts, like scheduling at the wrong time, not being on the same page of when our availability is and when the customer's availability, because we're using a third party and they're in between. The other thing is not scheduling the capacity that I need. Like, I need, if I need 10 appointments today, like that's a big task to go and call my whole customer, base, give me 10 appointments today. If you need 50 appointments today, that's a tremendous task. You see these call places, when you look at their metrics, they have to call, they could almost call, they make 100 phone calls. If they booked 8 calls, that would be a success. if they talk to 100 people on the phone, talk to 100 people, and they book 8 calls, that would be a success to them.
So that's more than 100 of your database, because it's 100 people that they talk to. So
right.
It's probably 200 people that they call, or whatever the metric is on answer rates.
Yeah.
So you're not maximizing the value of your database for sure.
It's a very slow way to do it in the shoulder season, and in the past, we haven't had call centers that were able to keep up with what we needed in the shoulder season to keep our technicians busy.
And going back to what we talked about earlier, the value of your list is like your asset. That's your business, right? And handing it to a third party, and it's like you don't want to spam your list, but you're willing to hand it to a third party and expect them to treat it with the same respect that you'd treat it. That's a risk you're taking there.
I mean, we even heard it in the industry of call centers scheduling calls for other companies. Unfortunately, yeah. So I mean, it is scary. What happened? What happens if that happens? You lose that customer for life. For life. But anyways, so we did do call centers, and they are able to get calls, but there was a lot of issues with that. Now, the minute that I found out that you can do that by automation, I've never went back to a call center, outbound call center at all. Like, there's just no reason to. We've had such good success at booking with our list with automation. We've booked over 10%, 12%, 15% on some lists from the list. And when I say that we booked it, it just happens so easy and so fast. Like, the phone never stops ringing. All we are is booking appointments. Once we hit that automation button and it goes out.
Tell us about what the actual logistics are. What are you doing? What are you doing to reach out to these customers?
Okay.
As much as you're willing to share.
No, for sure. I want to help out the communities, even if my competitor is going to watch this video and start doing it. But I'll tell you exactly what we do and how we're so successful in using automation to book our tune-ups during the shoulder season. The first thing we do, we have a 3-day campaign that's set up. So every day we'll send a text message. If anybody responds to the text message, it will turn off all campaigns. So we're not over targeting them, over messaging them.
Yep.
So the first text message is the first drip is a voicemail.
Okay.
It's a ringless voicemail that goes straight to their phone, and it's me on the voicemail telling them, "Hey, thank you so much for being a customer. I'm just giving you a courtesy call to let you know that winter's around the corner and it's time to look and change that filter. Also, we're starting our tune-ups for the winter. So if you're interested, we have about 50 spots available right now for some discounted $49 tune-ups. If you're interested, just give me a call back."
You just gave the key, right? You just gave the key to the Forbidden City. If you were listening to that, you just learned how to make it happen. And so we should clarify, we should make that a point, right? That CHIIRP is not just a text messaging platform. It is text message, email, ringless voicemail, direct mail, any type of thing. So when you talk about that ringless voicemail, that's where we're sending a pre-recorded voicemail right to your customer's inbox. It looks like you just tried to call them, just says, missed call. They listen and then they call back, right? That's what's happening, right?
Right. So we give it about 10 minutes for that voicemail to be heard, because they'll go to Dean, they got a voicemail, they'll listen to it, and so we'll give it about 10 minutes, and then it's one of the it says, like, one of the girls in the office, hey, my boss just left you a voicemail, about our special. If that's something you want to, do you have time to listen to it? If that's something you want to take advantage of, just let me know. In a text message.
Yes.
I can't tell you the amount of phone calls that we get direct from the customer to our office saying, "Hey, Dustin just called me. Like, hey, I need to get scheduled on that maintenance. Dustin just called me. Is he there? Can I talk to him?" And then that follow-up text message. How many appointments we booked from that follow-up text message, and that's the first day. how it works is on the booking is like we get a third the first day, a third the second day, and a third of our bookings the third day. We can keep going out, but we want a good customer experience. So then on the second day, we'll send another text message. Just like, hey, I haven't heard from you. Did you want to take advantage of it? We have a few spots left. And then the third day text message is, this is the last day to take advantage. If you want to move forward, no problem. If not, no problem. And then, that's the key for shoulder season bookings right there. And using those campaigns, you can book 10-15% of your unattached customer list, customers that you probably would not have seen next year.
Yeah, I remember the first time we did this with you, and you were like, I just filled up my shoulder season with appointments.
1 week.
1 week, and you filled it out, right? Like that's with we're talking no other call centers, anybody involved. It was click the button to start the campaign, and we filled out our shoulder season. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, obviously,
Ryan, let me tell you the value of what this means to a contractor like me.
Yeah.
First of all, the only time you're going to take market share is in the summertime. It costs you too much to take market share during the shoulder season. Your new customer acquisition costs can go 10, 20, 50 times more for that new customer in the shoulder season versus the summer. So what happens is and I fell into this back when I first started. I was so scared to hire the technicians that I needed because I wouldn't have work for them when we slowed down. And I didn't want to have to have those tough conversations and let people go because we didn't have any work for them. When I hired someone, they're making an investment in me. They're trusting me with their family. They're trusting me with their home. They're trusting me that I'm going to keep them employed and keep them working. And so I would just stay small in order to not have to let anybody go. Yeah. And then the season comes around, the summer comes around, and I don't have enough people to do all the work of all the calls that are coming in. I turn off my marketing. I start closing the business down and shutting it down because I don't want new customers calling me because I don't have the capacity to go run those calls. Yeah. Now this is what happened when I realized that I can keep a technician busy all year round. Is that I figure out, okay, how much can I spend during the summertime? How many new customers will I get? And then how many technicians will I need?
Yeah.
And I start that planning in February. I start hiring for new technicians in February to meet the demand that I know I'm going to get. So now I'm able to actually grow my business to a way where I feel successful. The companies feel successful. We don't feel like we're overworked and we're so stressed out.
Yeah.
So what this means to your business is that you can actually grow and feel confident in the growth because you're going to have work for your technicians all year long by just using this one part of CHIIRP for your shoulder season.
Yeah. You said it's like if you use just CHIIRP for just that one thing, it would be worth it all day long, right? Well,
I'll tell you what. If you just use the CHIIRP's review platform, it's worth it.
Yeah, just that alone. Yeah. So, so if you're Dustin, this has been super valuable, and I'm super grateful that you were willing to share some of your. Those are some pretty serious secrets that people, if they take seriously, can really make a lot of money. And again, it goes back to it's not just money; it's creating a culture where you're not. It's predictable. There's less stress. Automation really allows you that freedom in your business that you're looking for. A lot of us get into business thinking we're going to create freedom, and we just create really stressful jobs for ourselves. But CHIIRP can really alleviate a lot of that by creating that automation. So for any home service pro that's watching this, especially HVAC, obviously, but anybody in the home service industry, what would you say to somebody that is like on the fence of going, hey, do I want to implement automation in my business? What should I do? What would you say to them?
This is what I would say is that, software as a service, is a really popular term. And, software is not supposed to make it harder. It's supposed to make it easier. There's no software that I use in my business that saves me more time than CHIIRP. that saves me more labor and man hours than CHIIRP does. The amount of time it would take me to call 10,000 customers that are in our database, it would take a huge call center working all the time. I mean, it's not possible for a company like ours, an office like ours, to be able to do that. It's just not possible. And with CHIIRP, with having 3 people that work in our call center, we're easily able to do that type of automation and get it done. So with all the softwares out there, no software saves us as much labor time as CHIIRP does.
Man, that's so cool to hear. That's another thing that people don't realize. They think it's like it's all about making more money, but it's like, hey, it costs us a lot of money to have employees. That's the number one thing. If this, I did the math on my business. I think CHIIRP did like 40 hours a week of work for me last year that it's just doing automatically, that I would have had to pay somebody 40 hours a week to do. So that's a huge thing that people sometimes don't equate when they're evaluating. It's like, it's going to help you make a lot more money, but it's going to save you a lot of time and money, which is another big thing to look at. So Dustin, one of the big things that people don't realize in automation, we talk about texting, and marketing to the group, but automation can really help internally keep your team working. We can't rely on people and humans to be consistent, or as consistent as we need them to be. How are you using CHIIRP to help with that side of things?
Well, to think that, all of your employees are going to be doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, when they're supposed to be doing it, and how they're supposed to be doing it, it's just not going to happen. People are human. We're not machines. But CHIIRP and the automation allows a machine element where we can create patterns and stuff that happen every single time, tasks to get completed. When something happens, this task needs to be completed before we can move forward. Also, the campaigns that you built in CHIIRP will absolutely happen. Like, you don't have to worry about the CSR calling the customer the next day. Like, it's 100% going to happen. So, having a platform that can keep the team on task, but also keep everything else on task, and it's going to work 100%. I mean, that's pretty huge.
That's what I say automation doesn't call in sick. It doesn't forget. It doesn't have to pick up the kids from school. It's there for you all the time, and it never messes up. So, that's a really good point. Cool. So, Dustin, one of the fears or hesitations that people have is like, hey, I can't spam people. I can't text. I don't want to get sued for texting somebody. And we obviously don't want that. We want everybody operating within the law. This is not something that's illegal, but there are some steps you need to take to make sure that you are compliant. What are you doing to make sure you're staying compliant that way?
Yeah. Text messages is very tricky because there's a lot of gray area right now. It's not really completely outlined exactly. But if you're reaching out to somebody to sell them something, you have to get their permission before you reach out to them. And so what we do is in all of our invoices and all of our estimates or proposals, whenever we go out to the house, the customer has to sign something. And so when they're signing, we have a little disclaimer in there that they're agreeing for us to reach out to them via text to inform them about upcoming events or things like that. So also, we allow them to opt out during the text message as well. That way we're staying in compliance with the rules.
Yeah, we're not, to be clear to anybody watching this, don't think you're going to get CHIIRP and buy some list and spam it. Like, that's against the law. It's illegal. The whole idea here is to communicate with existing customers that want to communicate with you and market to them appropriately. And by doing that, you're covering your bases. You're getting the opt-in, and then you're also offering for them to be able to opt out at any time, which is really all you need to do to stay safe. So
cool.
Yeah. Okay. Man, Dustin, thank you so much. This has been super awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time to be on, and I really appreciate you sharing that stuff with us. If somebody was to come into CHIIRP in the HVAC space, we have pre-built campaigns. We have stuff ready to go. Dustin's regularly in the group, like commenting and helping. We're not just a software platform. We're a community. So if you're looking to implement automation, you get our team and you get pros like Dustin here that that are, willing to help. Obviously, you see here, but you've heard it from somebody that's doing, $9 million a year in HVAC. Automation is a serious thing. So thank you so much, Dustin. Thank you for being on the show today. Appreciate it.
Cool, Ryan, and thank you, and also Taylor, man, he's been so helpful to our business and CHIIRP. So I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
Thank
Taylor is the man, right? He does every automation you can think of. He's like, oh, I know how to do that. Let's make it happen. So, yeah. Taylor
knows how to do things that it's like, he can make CHIIRP sing.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to show them. That's a good one. That's good. Okay, cool. All right, Dustin. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Have a fantastic day. Thank you so much.
We'll see you, Dustin. Bye. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch that interview. Like I said, I was pretty shocked at what Dustin was willing to share. That stuff really has made the difference for a lot of companies, and we can help you implement these strategies in your business today. If you want to learn more about how CHIIRP works and how it can work for you, click the button below this video and schedule a demo with a member of our team. We'll jump on, we'll go through the entire platform, we'll show you exactly how all this stuff works and how you can get started in the next few days implementing automation. See you on the demo. Thanks.